The 1985 Bears are said to be one of the greatest defenses, if not the greatest, of all time. But what actually made them so good? Firstly, these dudes were scary.
They put the fear of God into every team that they played, and I think they won at least 7 or 8 games during the warm-ups.
They instilled fear into their opponents. I mean, imagine a 300+ pound dude barreling down on you. That alone is something. Then you have 10 other players that could cause damage.
Mike, man, I'm gonna kill him. Wilbur, I'm gonna get that first.
I mean, these guys will get after you. You only have a couple seconds to get rid of the ball. This fear was amplified by Buddy Ryan's masterful 4-6 defensive scheme. The basic premise of it is to rush the quarterback with overwhelming force. Bring pressure every play. Penetrate and fill every gap with speed, so runs are forced outside and pressure hits the quarterback before he can pass deep.
It is all about pressure. We're gonna come at you, and we're gonna hit your quarterback until you get another one in.
Most defenses played with 7 in the box at that time, and this excerpt from his playbook with the Oilers encapsulates the idea behind his 4-6 scheme perfectly. A quarterback has never completed a pass when he was flat on his back. We must hit the quarterback hard and often. Quarterbacks are overpaid, overrated, pompous, and must be punished. Great pass coverage is a direct result of a great pass rush, and a great pass rush is simply a relentless desire to get to the quarterback. And because the scheme was new, they were able to overwhelm teams. But it isn't simply blitzing, it was disguised pressure based on mismatches or stuffed gaps. It kept the offensive line guessing and forced the quarterback to make a decision quickly. This was a physical, tough style of play that is synonymous with old school football. Having 8 in the box made it hard to run against, but they were susceptible to short passing routes. The West Coast offense that emerged in the 80s was a threat, as it emphasized getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly, so the corners would play bump and run coverage, so press the receivers at the line in order to disrupt this. Buddy Ryan would also be carried off when they won the Super Bowl, and I believe it's the only time 2 coaches were carried off in a Super Bowl win, just showing how much he meant to the team. That being said, scheme is one thing, but you need the right guys too. In the 1985 season, the defense racked up 64 sacks, 34 interceptions, and 24 fumbles. That's about 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 1.5 fumbles per game. They also held opponents to under 13 points per game. The defense was star-studded. Hall of Famers Richard Dent, Dan Hampton, and Mike Singletary, as well as stars like Otis Wilson and Leslie Frazier. And that's not even all of them. They also had William Perry, aka The Fridge, and there were not many 300-pound linemen in the league at the time, as you can see in this graph. It's not like today's league. And as mentioned, their corners excelled at pressing receivers, which is fundamental in the 4-6 defense. And finally, it does seem that the beef between head coach Mike Ditka and defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan helped fuel the team a bit. Despite the conflict, you got the best of both worlds. Buddy Ryan's strategic mind that orchestrated one of the best defenses ever, and Ditka's ability to set a culture and manage all those personalities they had at the time. So you had this all-time great team that won the Super Bowl in 1985. But that would be all. So why? Firstly, their quarterback, Jim McMahon, was injured in Week 12 in 1986 against the Packers. Charles Martin delivered this cheap shot, as you can see, and despite finishing the season 14-2, they'd lose to the Redskins in the divisional round. Then you had Buddy Ryan, who left for Philadelphia in 1986, and that was a major loss, of course. And then teams adapted. Teams began to spread players out. The fullback was a big piece of offenses back then, but by replacing him with a third receiver, you take away a linebacker or a safety from the line of scrimmage, making disguising the blitz harder. The Bears would make the playoffs 4 out of the next 5 seasons following the Super Bowl, but with key players becoming free agents and Buddy Ryan gone, that team would never get back to the Super Bowl. Alright, thanks for watching.